course, she had been found in that hotel room with Michelle and Daniel, so her cover was officially blown, but nobody knew where she was. But then finally, on February 16th, 2025, the whole world was about to find out that Ziz was alive and was found. Because that day, Ziz was arrested alongside Michelle and Daniel. Apparently, the three of them were found trespassing on private land in a remote area near the border of Pennsylvania and West Virginia. According to court documents, they were dressed head to toe in black. They had approached a nearby resident asking if they could camp on the property for a month. The resident had said no and then called the police, scared, unsure what these people were planning to do, what their motives were, and good on them too, because that would be scary. If somebody just came up to me and was like, hey, can I camp on at your house for a month? And they were dressed in all black, I'd be like, hell no, and I'm calling the police. So weird. But then when the officers showed up to the property, they found 2 white box trucks that had been parked at the end of the road. And inside one of them, Ziz and Daniel were there, and they were wearing gun belts loaded with ammunition. When the police searched the vehicles, they also found even more incriminating stuff. I'm talking a long rifle in the back, handguns on the floor, and it didn't stop there. Federal prosecutors say that Ziz was in possession of a .50 caliber sniper rifle, also a handgun, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition, which that is serious firepower. If convicted on those charges alone, she could face up to 15 years in federal prison. Now, for now, a judge has ordered her to be held without bail, calling her both a flight risk and also a danger to public safety, which couldn't agree more. Michelle and Daniel, as I said, were also arrested, but they weren't hit with federal charges. Not yet, anyway. So far, they've been charged locally with trespassing, obstruction, and weapons-related offenses. And just to be clear, once again, Ziz has not been charged in connection with any of the murders. But this arrest definitely did start to change everything, and it kind of put the whole Zizian group and story front and center in the news. But the case still isn't done. There are even more twists and turns, because get this, in June of 2025, a judge finally set a trial date for Suri and Alexander, the 2 surviving Zizians who were involved in that sword attack on 80-year-old Curtis. That trial was supposed to begin in October of 2025, but has been rescheduled, and if it's anything like the pre-trial hearings have been, we are in for a very wild ride. Alexander has been very outspoken in the courtroom anytime that there's an appearance, and all of the delays and the outbursts are kind of what has played a part in dragging this entire thing out for years. But at the most recent trial, she apparently disrupted the court and shouted over 20 times, "I waive my right to a speedy trial." And another time, after the judge approved a motion to combine her and Suri's cases, Alexander started yelling, "Someone please help me. I am surrounded by trans misogynists. They are torturing me for being transgender." All while the judge was attempting to just read her the charges. Now, Suri, on the other hand, has been much more quiet, appearing at hearings on Zoom instead of in court. And get this, ever since her photo has been sort of like out there in the media and in the news, people have come forward saying she's not Suri at all. Some people believe that Suri was once someone named Tessa Burns, and some investigators think she just made up the name Suri on the spot when she was arrested. Her lawyers claim that they have ever known her as Suri, though, but someone who claims that they went to high school with her and also used to be very good friends with her claims that she's certain that the identity is Tessa Burns. And this person had even heard rumors that Tessa had joined a cult after pretty much falling off the face of the earth and cut off contact with almost everyone that they used to associate with, which, as we know, that certainly adds up here, right? You join a cult, you assume a new identity, get a new name, leave that person behind. So apparently even Suri's adoptive mother has identified her as Tessa. So I think that kind of speaks volumes as to who she might really be. Now, as for Max Snyder, the Zizian member accused of killing Curtis, he entered a plea of not guilty in the murder charge against him. He was supposed to have another hearing in June of 2025, but it looks like it got pushed to August because his defense claimed that they needed more time for evidence discovery. In his court appearances so far, he's been very calm, very collected, and during one, he even was heard humming a song while he was just like sitting there waiting for everything to begin. But I want you to take a listen to one of Curtis's friends reflecting on what happened to him.
He would take in people from the streets who needed a place to stay. He was a kind-hearted person. And so he's a lot more well-loved than most of us will be. They were a murderous group of people who didn't want to get evicted. Okay, just full stop. He happened to end up with a bad batch of tenants who made him suffer the ultimate price.